The wind howled across Dust Hollow like a forgotten ghost that hadn't found its peace. Rancher Tom Keller pulled his jacket tighter, stepping down from his rust-bitten pickup and glancing toward the broken fence that had brought him out here this late. A few of his longhorns had wandered too far again. The late July sun had dipped behind the hills hours ago. Now the land shimmered under silver moonlight and a crisp prairie chill. That's when he saw her. A girl no more than 25. Standing barefoot by the edge of his field, clutching a burlap sack to her chest like it held her whole world. Her coat was threadbare. Her hands shook. Eyes wide and sunken like she hadn't slept in days. She looked like she belonged to another time, dust-covered and desperate. He'd never seen her before. "Miss," he called, unsure if she was real or just another tired vision brought on by long hours and loneliness. She flinched at the sound of his voice, backing up instinctively. "Please, don't come closer." Tom paused. Something in her voice, trembling and low, topped him cold. Not fear, exactly. Something deeper, something worn. "I ain't gonna hurt you," he said, gently lifting both hands in the universal sign of peace. "You're on my land. You look cold, hungry. Need help?" Her arms tightened around the sack. "Please," she whispered. "Don't look under the sack." He blinked. "I wasn't gonna." She shook her head violently. "No, you don't. Understand. People always look. They say they won't, but they always do." Tom didn't know what to say. She looked so fragile standing there, a lone figure under the moonlight, guarding something with her whole body like a mother bear. "All right," he said finally. "I won't." They stood in silence, her eyes darting, scanning the shadows behind him like something might leap out. Tom slowly took off his jacket and held it out. "You want this? You're shivering." She hesitated, then nodded, stepped forward, careful not to make her feel threatened, and handed her the jacket. She slipped it on with trembling fingers, swallowed her frame. "Thank you," she mumbled. "You got a name?" He asked. She hesitated again. "Riley, Tom," he said. "Tom Keller, that's my ranch over there. You're welcome to come up for some food. Got chili on the stove." Riley's eyes welled up and she shook her head. "I can't. It's better if I stay out here. I just needed a place to rest for a night. I'll be gone by morning." Tom looked at her, really looked. Something was deeply wrong. The way she kept adjusting the sack in her arms, always shielding it. The way her eyes darted. Not a junkie, not a thief. More like someone running from something too big to outrun. "You can stay in the barn," he said after a pause. "It's warm. There's blankets. I won't ask questions. You're safe here." Shocked. Then the tears finally came. "Thank you," she whispered. He led her to the barn, unlocked it, turned on the dim bulb overhead. The space smelled like hay and horses and old wood. Riley curled up in a corner, cradling the sack tightly. Tom left without pressing more. But that night, sleep never came easy. The next morning, Tom made coffee and brought a tray of food out to the barn: eggs, toast, some fresh milk. Riley was awake, staring at nothing. She sat up quickly when he entered, cradling the sack. "Brought you breakfast," he said. "Hope you like it." "Thank you," she said again, softer this time. They sat in silence while she ate. Something about her made him think of his own daughter, Emily, who'd left for the city 2 years back and never quite came home the same. Same kind of sadness. Same need for someone to just see them. "You're welcome to stay another night," he said finally. Riley looked at him, eyes wide. "Why? What do you mean?" "No one's ever helped me without asking why." Tom leaned against the stall gate. "I don't know. Just feels like the right thing to do." That night, the storm rolled in hard. Thunder cracked across the sky, and the rain came down in sheets. Around 2 a.m., Tom heard it shouting, crying. He grabbed his boots and ran to the barn. She was on her knees, shaking violently, the sack on the ground beside her. "Riley," he called. "Don't look under it," she sobbed. "Please, just don't."
Ow!
But something wasn't right. The sack was moving. Tom stepped forward despite her protests, knelt, and gently pulled back the burlap flap. What he saw made him drop to his knees. Inside was a baby, a tiny, pale, shivering infant barely weeks old, swaddled in old rags' cheeks. Hollow from hunger, its small chest rose and fell so shallowly it barely looked alive. Tom looked at her, thunderstruck. You've been carrying this child all this time?" Riley nodded, still crying. "I didn't know what else to do. He's not mine. I found him, left in a dumpster behind a gas station near Albuquerque. I couldn't leave him, and I couldn't take him to the cops either. They'd think I stole him, or worse. I've been trying to get somewhere safe." Tom couldn't speak. The baby's tiny hand gripped his finger. It felt like holding life itself. "Why didn't you tell me?" he finally asked. "Because people see a girl with a baby in a story, and they think scam, or crazy, or criminal. I couldn't risk it. I just wanted to keep him alive." Tom took a deep breath. His whole life had been cattle and soil and sky. But this was something different, something divine. He scooped up the baby with surprising tenderness. "We're taking him inside." "No, but you brought him this far. Let's bring him the rest of the way." That night, Tom called the local nurse practitioner, a woman named Lydia, who lived nearby and had helped him through his wife's cancer years ago. She came without hesitation. Cleaned the baby, checked his vitals. "He's weak," she said, "but he's a fighter, and Lydia looked at Riley with warm eyes. "She's an angel in disguise." Riley sobbed again. But this time, the tears were mixed with something new, relief. The ranch never felt quite the same after that night. The storm passed by morning, leaving the land soaked and glistening. Tom Keller stood in the kitchen, the baby nestled against his chest in a soft blanket Lydia had brought. Riley sat at the table, sipping warm tea with trembling hands. Her eyes followed the baby's every breath. She looked like she hadn't exhaled in days. "You should name him," Tom said quietly. Riley blinked. "Me? You found him?" "Saved him. That baby's alive because of you." She stared at the tiny face wrapped in blue, thinking. Then softly, "Eli. It means ascended. My grandma used to say it meant God heard you." Tom smiled. "Eli it is." He didn't say it out loud, but in that moment he realized something. This wasn't temporary anymore. Whatever twist of fate had brought Riley and this baby to his doorstep had also cracked open a part of him he thought was long gone. His wife, Martha, had passed 3 years back. Cancer. And after Emily left for Toronto, chasing a future she didn't seem ready to share with anyone, Tom figured his best years were behind him. But now, his old house had crying in it. Laughter, sometimes life. Over the next few days, Riley barely left Eli's side. She fed him formula, Lydia supplied, changed his diapers with careful, shaky hands, and hummed lullabies in a voice no louder than the wind. And Tom started waking up before the alarm, eager to check on them. He'd brought her coffee each morning, cooked breakfast, fixed the barn door she never asked him to, found himself rearranging the house without noticing. Making space one afternoon, after Eli had fallen asleep, Riley helped him mend the north fence. She was quiet at first, then asked, "Why are you helping us?" Tom set down the hammer. "Because someone helped me once. Back when I didn't deserve it." She looked at him. "My wife," he said, voice thick. "I was drinking too much, angry at everything, lost a kid to miscarriage, and I didn't know how to handle it. But she stuck by me, reminded me I wasn't just the bad things that happened to me." Riley said nothing for a while. Then, "I've never had someone like that." "You do now," said without looking at her. A week turned into 2. Lydia helped them get a social worker out to the ranch. The woman, Miss Harlow, arrived with a clipboard and polite skepticism. But when she saw the way Riley cared for Eli, saw the baby's improving health, the food stocked in the fridge, the safe crib Tom had ordered from the town hardware store, her questions changed. "You're not the biological mother," she said gently. "No," Riley said, "but I'd give my life for him." That was the first time Tom saw Miss Harlow smile. "There's a process, but I've seen enough to know. Your heart's in the right place." That night, Riley sat on the porch, watching the stars while Eli slept in a basket nearby. Tom joined her, carrying 2 mugs of cocoa. "Think they'll take him?" she asked. Tom stared out into the prairie night. "Maybe, but I'll fight for him with you if it comes to that." Her shoulders sagged in gratitude. "Why are you like this? Why didn't you look away like everyone else?" He thought for a while. "Because when you see someone drowning, you don't ask why they fell in. You throw them a rope." She turned her face away, but not before he saw her smile. But life doesn't hand out miracles without trials. 3 weeks in, Riley got sick. High fever, pale skin. Weakness. Lydia came, pressed her fingers to Riley's wrist, and frowned. "She's been pushing too hard. Not eating, not sleeping. Probably picked up something while traveling." Tom stayed up all night beside her bed, sponge bathing her forehead, rocking Eli between catnaps. When she finally opened her eyes again, she whispered, "Don't let them take him." "I won't," he said, gripping her hand. When she recovered, things started to fall into rhythm, routine. Riley would walk Eli through the pasture in the mornings, wrapped snugly in a sling across her chest. Tom taught her how to ride. To coax a newborn calf, how to listen to the weather and the silence of the wind. For the first time, Riley felt like she belonged. Then, one morning, a black SUV pulled up the dusty road. A man in a tie stepped out, holding a briefcase. Miss Harlow was with him, eyes tense. Tom watched from the porch, heart already pounding. "Mr. Keller, Miss Riley, this is Mr. Jameson from the state adoption office," Harlow explained. Jameson nodded. "We've located a relative of the child, a great-aunt. She filed for temporary custody." Riley's knees buckled. "No, please. He's mine. I raised him. He knows me." Jameson softened, but said the state has to investigate all family leads. If she's deemed suitable, we have to place Eli with her. "I'm sorry." Stepped forward. "What if I filed to adopt?" They looked at him. Jameson blinked. "You're not related. I'm offering him a stable home, and I want Riley here too. This ranch," he paused, gesturing to the land around them. "It's not just a place. It's a family now. And I'm not giving that up." Jameson looked at Ms. Harlow. She looked at Riley, then at Eli, who was nestled against Tom's chest, cooing softly. "Let us talk," Harlow said. The next week was a blur of paperwork and waiting. The great-aunt, it turned out, was elderly and had no interest in raising a child. She admitted she'd filed out of guilt, not intention. The state re-reviewed the case. When the letter finally arrived, Riley opened it with shaking hands. Approved. For kinship, foster placement, with path to adoption. Ow. Riley burst into tears. Tom held her. Eli babbled between them, unaware that his whole life had just been rewritten by love. A year passed. The ranch grew quieter in winter, but warmer in every other way. Riley and Tom stood at the courthouse signing final papers. Tom, officially, listed as Eli's adoptive father. Riley, as legal guardian and co-parent. On the way home, Riley looked at Tom. "You saved us." He shook his head. "You did the saving. I just opened a door." She smiled, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for looking under the sack." Tom nodded. "I'd do it again." They pulled up to the ranch where Emily was waiting, visiting from Toronto, finally reconnecting with her father, holding Eli like the cousin she never knew she needed. Laughter echoed from the kitchen. Da, 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 da. The scent of cornbread and stew filled the air. A place that had once been built for cattle was now filled with laughter, footsteps, and family.